Welcome to the pre-installation verification video. You'll learn how to select the bolts, how to install the nuts and washers in the Skidmore, a little more about testing and pre-tensioning of these bolts, and what makes them pass or fail, and what you do to the bolts after you test them. Now we're going to select 3 bolts and put them together as an assembly and test those. We use the Skidmore Wilhelm for such testing. The Skidmore involves a gauge in the front. It also has a slot for the bolt on the back. That slot prevents the bolt from turning as you fasten and tighten the nut on the opposite side. You can see it's pretty easy to put the bolt into the Skidmore. It locks it in place so it doesn't turn. Now take a look at the other end. You'll see this flat plate, and we're putting the washer on. Notice that the markings of the washer face the outside, and the same thing is true for the nut. Put the markings on the outside. Tighten the nut. Do it by hand. If there's any snags on the nut, you're going to tighten it up with a wrench very shortly. Now after it's tightened up by hand, we're going to snug it up with a wrench. Now when you do this, you're going to see that the Skidmore gauge will just barely move. Now let's take a look at it. We're going to tighten it up. Watch it just move. Here we go, a little bit. There, did you see it? It's been snugged up. We're going to mark the plate for 1/3 of a turn. Now we're going to take the markings off that we used before, and we're going to put marks on it, either the corner or the flat of the nut, either one, marking the Skidmore 120 degrees, 1/3 of a turn. Mark number 1, and then mark number 2. Now we're going to apply the pressure. Get your wrench, begin to tighten the nut, 1/3 of a turn. Now you may find a cheater bar is a little helpful when you do this. And you can see immediately the pressure is being applied, and you can see the meter is changing really quickly. There we go. But about now you might be asking, well, how tight do I go? Do I go to a certain limit? Do I stop? What happens if it breaks? Right now we're going to apply 1/3 of a turn and then discuss that. Here we go. 1/3 of a turn has been made. Take a look at the reading. Now after all that, let's take a look at the meter. Let's see what we get. Okay, you notice that they're in 1,000 pounds. That equals 1 kip, or 1,000 pounds. We see about 33,000 pounds right there. Is that what you get? So if it's 33,000 pounds, how much do you need? For a 3/4 inch bolt, it's rated for 28,000 pounds. For safety, we add 5% more, so 28,000 times 5%, or 1.05, equals about 29,470 KSI. Did we? The answer is yes. Take a look. 33,000 pounds is greater than the 29,740. Therefore, the next step is to record your results. We did sample number 1. We're going to record it right there. Now we're ready to do sample 2 and 3, and we're all done. Now let's review just a little bit. We selected 3 bolts for our test. Then we put them in the Skidmore. We rotated it and recorded the data. The last step is to throw the old bolts away. Don't want to use those in construction. Let's review. Never use an impact tool. Discard after testing. Pull 3 bolts. Record lot numbers. Everything else you need is in the report. You'll find that on our website, evansmetal.com.